Here.
Yeah.
Don't go away now.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, Mr. Berestecky. Here. Mrs. Brice. Here. Mr. Brice.
Here.
Mr. McDowell.
Here.
Mrs. Pavelko.
Here.
Mr. Perrotta.
Here.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Mayor Pavelko is here. Solicitor Toprani is here. We got Neal, DeAnne, Patsy. Yeah. All present.
I didn't know it was you.
Okay, Mr. Brandon, would you please open those bids? This is just an estimate of what it would cost if we have to take over control of the building up in the parking lot. Okay, we don't own it, but in the event it got deemed unsafe. So these are some bids that we sought out to see basically how much it would cost us if we're responsible.
Okay, so we have two sealed bids. The first received on May, not in exact order. We have one received on May the 9th from Upgrade Demolition. It has all the required attachments, including a bid bond. I'm trying to find. Okay, for the base bid amount, this is for demolition of the structure, restoration, hauling of debris, including all associated and required tasks for completion of project, $63,000. Work associated with stabilization and weatherproofing, if encountered, $15,000, for a total of $78,000.
Oh, no, that's my mistake, I made an error. This is for 647 McCain. It's on McCain, it was the building we're getting money from a grant to help us take that down.
Is that the RSA money?
Yeah, that's the money, no. It's Keystone grant money, but the money for this demolition, we have got it from the state.
It, just close this, hold on, I think it was 63 and 15, 78,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Madam President.
Sorry.
So that was for
647 McCain, yeah, the building you've been working on for a year.
Okay, well, now, since we had matching funds on that, and that's under the 90,000, are we still gonna have to pay the matching funds on that?
Madam President, do you mind if we,
I guess we're gonna have to figure that out.
do you mind if we get through the, bid opening
I'm sorry.
first? Because I think we have members of the audience that perhaps are involved with the bid responses, so
Okay.
perhaps we could open both first and we could discuss it. The second was received earlier. This is from Schaaf Excavating in Finleyville, received on May the 8th, so it's timely as well. This appears to have the relevant bid forms as prepared by Gannett Fleming. So I would consider both of these, bid bond, insurance, it appears they're both complete. The bid in response to this by Schaaf. Demolition of structure, restoration, hauling of debris, and all required tasks, $145,000. Work associated with stabilization, $15,000, for a total of $160,000 even. So, Madam President, we have two bids, $78,000 from Upgrade, $160,000 from Shape.
Okay. No, hey, Stephen,
Yes, sir.
was that for, what was that for?
This is for 647.
Okay, that's why I wanted to thank you.
Now, this is for 647 McCain Avenue, and the bid packet was prepared by Gannett Fleming, our engineer.
What was the name, you said Shafe?
Yeah, I believe Shafe, SCHAAF Excavating of Finleyville, Pennsylvania. And the other is Upgrade Demolition, I believe they're here in Donora.
Now, how long do we have to award that? We don't have to make a decision.
I think that's, unless you have anything specific from the grant sources, unless there's a different timeline, we could award it within 30, without having to put out for another bid.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we had one person, but he's not here for the agenda. So, request motion to approve April 11, 2024 meeting minutes.
Motion.
Second. Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Motion carries 7 zeros.
Mrs. Pavelko, could you do your financial report, please?
Sure, okay. Our payroll report for the month of April 2024, total amount spent was $57,667.87. Our treasurer's report for the month of April 2024, balance in checking account is $1,489,226.45. I have a motion to accept the payroll and treasurer's report as read.
Second.
Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Aye.
Mrs. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Motion carries 7 zeros.
The bill report for the month of April. Total amount expenditures was $708,277.02. I'd like to make a motion to accept the bill report as read.
Second.
Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Aye.
Mrs. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Motion carries 7 zeros.
Okay, there is no tax collection report for this month. I have a motion to approve rescinding of a prior vote from the April 11th council meeting regarding the borough requiring an asbestos survey to be conducted on all residential structures scheduled to be demolished.
I make that motion.
Motion was already made.
Motion made, somebody has to second it.
I'll second
Okay. Roll call, please.
We need discussion on this, because I have an email from Ms. Elizabeth Spiker from the DEP that specifically states that notification is not required for single residential structures up into, including 4 dwelling units, as long as the single structures are not part of a bigger project, including 2 or more structures being demolished at the same time on adjacent properties or within 800 feet of each other. If there are multiple residential structures being demolished within close proximity of each other, the asbestos survey and the notification are required for the project.
Then it should say that in this. when that should have been said, okay?
The email came May 3rd at 8:32 in the morning.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter, because I've written documentation.
Listen.
Mr. Solicitor,
This is wrong.
What is
We are
your legal
overstepping
opinion?
our boundaries. Listen, we want you people to tear down the old structures. We want them to come in and tear it down. We are just adding more chaos and money to their bill.
we are
It
following
makes no sense.
guidelines.
You know what? We're following you.
So no, you're trying to circumvent the system.
No, you are trying to.
Mr. Solicitor, what is your
Excuse me,
legal
I love the
opinion
word
on the matter?
Legal opinion, not necessary.
It is necessary.
Vote.
I am familiar with Ms. Spiker, that is what her email stated. I think that was because of the proximity of the house.
Okay, well, if it's more than one dwelling, then we'll deal with it as it comes
But that's
along.
a
But
case
right
by
now,
case
a single house
But this
does
is, a-
not need it. Does not need it. A single dwelling does not need an asbestos test. And
you
that's.
vote you, I'll vote me.
Yes, well, yes, sir, we will. It's called.
Hey, Mr. Berestecky.
Is there any other discussion here? Mike was ready to say something.
I understand what the president is saying. If it's a single dwelling, I don't believe we need it. But if it's gonna be 1, 2, 3 dwellings in a row, I think we should have something like that. But I don't think we should vote it down. It should be in place in case we come into a circumstances where there are 3 buildings torn down.
Then we should redo
Can
it.
you talk into the microphone? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, where there are more than one building tore down, which would mean 3 buildings at the same time. Yes, we should have, if there's just one structure, then I really don't think we need it, but I think we need language in place in case there are 3 adjacent structures.
Okay, well, this motion read, any demo. All right, so we have to remove this motion and redo one that covers the multiple dwellings.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on the vote.
Well, I
This
don't
is
think I don't think we need to
We do.
remove it, we just need to put language in it that amend it, that would say multiple structures.
But that's not
Am I
what we
right?
voted on, Steve.
I think we'd have to,
Rescind.
we could change it.
We could amend it,
I think the better path would be
Remove.
remove
And then redo it.
yeah, because if you have
Because
multiple.
if we amend it,
It still
and
needs.
some future council deals with it, none of us are here,
But,
but.
yeah, well, I'm agreeing, yes, I'm agreeing with Mr. Perrotta, where they said there are multiple structures.
Okay,
A single structure doesn't fall under those guidelines.
That's not.
That's correct.
You know what I mean? So I think at this time, if you say that it should be removed, and then we should readdress it and bring it back in here where it reads multiple structures. And I think that that would be a good thing because this covers us down the road.
Right,
It's for multi-unit, multi-structure.
Yes,
Right,
okay. I
okay.
have no problem with that, but we need to put that back in and have it reworded where it is multiple structures.
Can I comment on that? The thing that I'm concerned with, Renee is ready to go. She has one house. She's ready to go. This is holding her up. Now, the next house, he doesn't have insurance, so we might be dealing with that for another year. Let her get her house torn down.
Yeah, but we're not saying that, Mr. Price. We're saying a single structure, yes. Multiple structures being torn down at the same time, yes. So that has
Not
nothing-
only at the same time, they are within 800 feet of each other, and the email was very specific.
but
Yes,
Somewhat-
but the thing about it was, let's say Renee tears her house down now.
Right.
6, 7 months down the road, the other structure next to hers is still standing. So that has nothing, no bearing on her tearing her house down.
But this,
But if it's a multiple thing, now, I don't know how this is gonna be, because Renee, I'm sorry, I don't really know where your house is, but I know we have 3 structures on McCain Avenue, and there's 3 of them. And according to the demolition people, they said that it would be safer to tear the middle house down and then go out, rather than tearing one or the other on the other side. I don't know, you know what I mean?
You're never gonna get him to tear that down.
But I'm
Okay.
saying, well,
I
you know,
pay taxes, I'm still paying my homeowner's
Okay.
insurance, because if somebody goes on that property
Yes.
and gets hurt, then I'm gonna be
I
liable.
understand it, I understand
if
that.
we,
And my insurance company did an asbestos asbestos report
Okay.
on their own. It wasn't asked by the borough or
Okay.
anybody.
Does the borough,
And we do cover then.
do we have a copy of
They
that?
don't need a copy of
We
it.
don't need it, cause they.
We do, because they're
No, we
within
don't.
800 feet of each other. The
It's
email
only
is the
her
same.
house.
It's
only her
there-
house.
3 houses need demolished.
That has no bearing on this.
Yes,
one
it
right
does.
here.
They're
No, it doesn't.
together. If
They're
you want to
not-
violate the state statutes, you go right ahead, but I'm
Please
not.
stop talking to me about violations. Now, there's a vote up here, let's vote. Vote, we're rescinding the
I have
asbestos
a
requirement.
question on the motion. She mentioned that her insurance company already did an asbestos test. So this
Has nothing to do.
has nothing to do with her.
Yes, we're
The
holding.
borough doesn't have a copy of it.
But we made this motion to require this.
So
Okay.
she can go ahead and proceed with it.
If we rescind right now,
Sure.
if we rescind.
So this ordinance does not affect her.
Yes, it does.
Well, even if we don't rescind, with her asbestos copy, we could proceed anyways. Has nothing to do with it.
You know, in
She's
your
met-
escrow account, you are holding 3 times the amount it's
I
gonna cost
understand
to
that.
have that
Yeah.
down. Now, are you gonna pay me money on what
Oh,
I'm
yes.
gonna get back?
You-
You get reimbursed.
We refund fire
Understand.
escrow, so
But-
we're required to maintain it.
You said that your insurance company did an asbestos test. You fulfilled all your obligations.
Okay.
You have no-
As long as the borough receives a copy of it, yes, that is correct. They have fulfilled the obligations.
Yeah, you fulfilled your obligations, so this has nothing to do with you.
Okay, we're just gonna vote. Let's, okay, yeah, we're gonna shut this down here. Let's go on. We need to continue with this meeting. We have a vote up. Roll call, please. To rescind the asbestos requirement on single dwelling demos.
Mr. Berestecky? No. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
If it pertains to single dwellings only. Multiple dwellings, no. You understand what I'm saying? Single dwellings only. And like the lady says, she has an asbestos test, her insurance has a copy of it. All she has to do is have her insurance company send a copy to the borough code enforcement, and she's done, she's fulfilled all her obligations. But on multiple dwellings going forward, yes, you have to have it.
So the one company that's already bid their bid is gonna be responsible to have to do that now. Right.
Yes or no?
Right.
Let's move on.
Okay, vote please.
Officially, yes, Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pavelko?
Yes.
Mr. Perrotta?
No.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, yeas carried 5-2.
Okay, under, the next motion is, before I read it, it is in regards to our COVID money that we have to spend by the end of this year. I would like to, before I make a motion, I'd like to discuss it more and table it before we even talk
Can't-
about making a motion.
Can't discuss it until the motion's made. Unless you don't make the motion at all, we can move on.
Question on the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, please.
I will read the motion, but I want to discuss it, of course. It's a motion to approve use of remaining unassigned ARPA funds to purchase a new demonstrating scale excavator and a new F600, 700 HD pickup truck with extra wide bed to handle demolition debris hauled away by Public Works Department employees.
Is there a second?
Can I say something?
Well, you need to make a second. We gotta either second the motion or let it die.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
This is what you gave us, right, Dean? A rough idea.
Yes, I was just reviewing it now, because it actually came in late today, and I just finally got to review it. The total package price, from what I'm understanding here, is
But we're
the,
not real clear on this, correct?
I'm not gonna say 100% on that.
Right. So
Okay.
just let it, don't second it, let it die.
Just let the motion die. Nobody
Right,
seconded it.
yeah, Nobody seconded it, let's go.
We can table it till the work session and talk about it more in the future, at the next meeting.
Now, I have one question. Being that it's such a high amount, do we have to get 3 bids that it's not on CoStar?
Well, this is the CoStar price.
It is CoStar.
He ain't got enough staff now to do what he gotta do.
Excuse
And you
me?
can give him more equipment.
Okay. DeAnne, are you done?
Yes,
Are you done?
yes.
Okay. Mr. Perrotta, could you do health and sanitation and code?
Registration fee report for the month of April, $2,695 collected, year-to-date, $18,615. Rental inspection report, $300 collected for the month of April. $300 for the, collected for the month of April for rental inspections, $3,140 collected year-to-date. Occupancy report, $450 collected for the month of April, $1,600 collected year-to-date. Sanitation report, $42,835.14 collected for the month of April. Total for year-to-date is $322,773.86. Delinquent sanitation fees collected, $277.80 for the month of April, $1,315.23 year-to-date. Fines collected from the magistrate, $2,480.14 year-to-date. For the month of April, for street openings, 4 street openings for $250 each, collected a total of $1,000, and year-to-date 25 street openings for $6,250. Last month, I made the comment that we are not collecting enough money for the street openings because of, I believe, Columbia Gas. I got alerts on my phone, 19 road closings in Donora for the total month of April, and we've only collected 4 street openings. That's a problem. I'm not blaming you yet, but there's a problem. There is a problem. Why are we not collecting the money?
Is it in the contract that they're gonna do it all at one time at the end, or is it in there that they say they have to pay weekly, monthly? Has anybody seen the contract?
I can explain part of it, you know, the street closings.
Okay.
Okay, now, like, you take right next door here to 6th Street. Okay, that was one job. There was 3 street closings there. They were 3 days. They had that street closed. And then you take for, like on the hill with the gas company, Precision, they have streets up there that they've been calling in. I mean, I can't say that's all of them,
But here's the issue. A 5x5 opening is $250. Anything larger than that, there's additional costs. So how can we collect $1,000 for 4 street openings when they're making larger than a 5x5 opening?
Amen.
Okay, what does?
So the math
contract-
doesn't add up.
Well, okay, we're gonna have to, someone has the contract with, there we have a go-to man, right? Don't we have a go-to man at Columbia Gas? Then we need to get him in here and he needs to explain to us why we are not getting paid or how they plan on paying us.
Now, Mr. Volpe did tell me before the meeting today that he's contacted somebody and they've gone back to what, January? Is that what that email says? Okay, well, the issue that I have is all of last year.
Again,
We need to get this straightened out.
bring Columbia Gas in, they are responsible for what's going on here. These people working out there, they are just subcontractors. So this all falls on Columbia Gas. So I suggest we contact Columbia Gas and we get a representative in here to explain exactly what's going on.
Do we have a point of contact for them?
We do,
Okay, we can get that.
okay?
Can maybe we get him here at a work
Right,
session?
get them here for a work session, they could explain it to us, absolutely, I agree.
I mean, this is potentially a large amount of money that they owe us, and we need this money.
Right.
Yes.
I have one thing to add. I reached out, I spoke to an Andy Duggan at Columbia Gas. The invoices I've been sending her, apparently they had a change in staff. And there was some confusion there. They are working on getting us the check for the stuff.
With the
that they've
pass,
done. Yeah.
okay.
And then the email says it's confirmed that they received the invoices, and she's looking into the date that it was paid and the check number.
Okay, well, we're gonna get, tomorrow, we'll give everybody, you can be on it with Mr. Thornton, and we'll figure out who our go-to person is, and invite them to come on down to our next work session and get this clarified.
I got a couple names that maybe I can run by you.
Okay, that's great.
I do have one question. Somebody did say, I believe, that, are they gonna build this all as one project, or is this, that's what we're going to?
That's what we're trying to figure out, right?
If it's an ongoing
Right.
thing.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
They've been here for 3 years.
The problem with billing it as one project is we don't have measurements now from all of last year. Like, how are we gonna determine the length of the
They can
excavation?
give us a map of where they were.
Well, now you're gonna be on the honor system, and if I was
Well, we know
Columbia
they
Gas,
were on
I'd be
the
lying.
street. You know they've replaced the gas lines on every street down here, so it's not that hard to figure out. They were on every street,
Well, it's either in a sidewalk or on the road.
Right.
You'll be able to tell where the power.
where it was, right,
All the
exactly.
roads that they did, that had big openings in it, they repaved the roads, and we haven't paved any roads anymore in this borough.
Right.
It would be emergency done.
To go through a map, yes,
Person go through.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
all the sidewalks is done by the gas company, so anywhere you see the sidewalks, it's in the,
that's where they were,
that's where
okay,
they was at.
great.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
And then they'll have to mark the streets that they're in.
Since we are talking about the roads and the gas companies, so on and so forth, I brought this up last year. To me, I'm not satisfied with the job that they are doing. They are coming in and only paving half the road, but their equipment is riding on the other half, and they're hurting, damaging the other half. A handful of years, the other half that they didn't pave is gonna be deplorable condition. And where are we gonna get the money to pay the other half? So since we're meeting with the gas company, let's find out what their responsibility is. Are they to pave the whole road, half the road? I mean, I've seen places where they only did 3/4 of the road, and since they didn't dig anything up at the top part of the road, they didn't touch it. But their equipment was on it. Do they not have to have a bonding issue to do this work?
I'm sure if we get the contract, someone has to show us where the original contract came in and who signed it. I'm sure it probably goes back to when Mr. Petrosky was here. So somewhere along the lane, there was a contract that was given to the borough for this work. Again, we'll have to ask Columbia Gas to please produce all the work.
Well, like Fred said, once we get them in here,
We
maybe
can
we
ask
can
them.
bounce some of this stuff out.
We can.
You have to get in contact with Alyssa, she's in charge of construction.
And see if they can get somebody to come to our next work session and give us a little, and maybe map out where they were, where they have been, and what they did. Okay? Mr. Perrotta?
I was here earlier.
Yes, sir?
This was sanitation.
What is it?
This was about sanitation.
No, we're not there yet.
They ain't there yet.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish the building permit here. Building permit report for the month of April, 3 permits issued for a total monies collected of $139,529. Total construction cost was $13,952,900. Year-to-date total of 5 building permits were issued, and total collected was $139,578 for a total construction cost of $13,956,900. And did we collect the money yet for the 1 permit from last month that I mentioned? We need to get on that.
That was for,
I'm not gonna mention who it is, we know who it is.
Okay, could you, put the agenda, please.
Have a motion to authorize the Borough Engineer Gannett Fleming to prepare a report for their opinion of the stability of, I believe it's gonna be 618 McCain Avenue, parcel number 240-013-0008-000200, possible, for the possible emergency demolition on McCain Avenue.
This would be more or less a ratification. You already have it.
We already have the report, right. Yeah, no, Casey made the motion and DeAnne seconded it.
Just so everyone's aware, the total cost for this report was $3,300. It was required as per the ordinance and the Borough Solicitor's recommendation.
May I make a comment on this?
Sure.
I was there for the inspection. I talked to Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen said I could sum this up in 6 words. This building should have been torn down yesterday. And then he also added, he said, your fire chief knows all about this. Why did you get in touch with us when your fire chief already had this under control? This should have been done weeks ago.
Well, Mr. Toprani said that we needed to get the reports, and if he goes into court, he has to have the paperwork to obtain the building. All right, we don't own the building, we'll have to go for a judge, get an emergency order, and that engineering report was part of the case that he will present to the judge.
Additionally, I would prefer we discuss this in executive session, but since
Okay.
the mayor brought it up, I want to respond completely. So, in order for us to meet our burden in court, we need an engineer's report. The court's going to expect to hear from an engineer. No disrespect to the fire chief, but this is addressed on an expert basis. And an engineer has to submit a report under professional seal. That's just a legal requirement. Number two is, in order for us to have appropriate coverage, let's say we have to perform this demo or self-perform this demo, our insurance carrier is going to want to know that it was studied by an engineer as well for coverage reasons. In case bricks fell, damage another structure, pedestrian, our workers. So this isn't just a means to spend some money. This was required. But I would be cautious to make too many commitments, because as it seems, we don't have funding to perform this demolition. So while I appreciate the expert's report saying that we should perform a demolition and that there is a risk, once we go to court and obtain a court order, the court's going to expect us to perform a demo. And they may even limit us on the amount of time we have to perform it. So we may overcommit, is all I want council to consider. I think we have to look into funding, we have to look into availability, and also, talk with Dean and his crew to see if this building or portions of this building can be raised in a way that would make it safe for this block that's impacted.
Steve, is there any legal way that we can go after this guy in New Jersey? There has to be. We have to be able to, we can't, and not lien this property, because we're gonna end up with a $60,000 piece of land that we're not gonna be able to do anything with. Why can't we go after this guy in New Jersey, go after his wages, go after his income tax return, go after his property in New Jersey? Like, we have to be able to do something.
Your own question. His location in New Jersey, he's outside the law in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so I can go buy a piece of property in New Jersey and they can't do a thing to me.
If you live in Pennsylvania, they're probably not going to be able to satisfy a judgment against you personally.
What I think we should do is look into the land bank as one thing, but now from my understanding, Ringgold isn't involved in the land bank, so.
You'd have to get permission from Ringgold.
Okay.
Ringgold would have to consent to you.
So, but couldn't we petition our county commissioners to have the tax claims do something where they don't just sell these pieces of property to people from all over the world that never come back?
I've dealt with this issue a lot over the years. In fact, about 15 years ago, there was a group of home buyers that would go in and buy up these properties at tax sale. Some of them have actually purchased properties here, a lot in Washington, some in Charlotte. Making a long story short, those folks were buying these for a few $100s a piece and doing nothing with them, putting them in shell companies, taking steps to evade legal process. The former president judge actually issued an order banning them from participating in tax claim bureau sales, upset sales, share sales, the like. They took her to court and it was overturned. They have the ability to purchase. So it's very difficult to control who purchases these. It's a global economy. One of the problem properties I dealt with in Washington, we dealt with it for 6 years before it was demoed. It was owned by a property owner who bought it on eBay from Moscow. So good luck chasing somebody in Russia to take care of their building. We can't even chase people in New Jersey to take care of their buildings. We had a building suffer serious damage a few years ago next to Colgan. They were in Texas. We had to go to great lengths to get them involved. Mr. McDowell, I think, was president of council then and worked with me to do that. So it's very difficult dealing with people who live in our communities that own blighted properties enough. So, I mean, it's a risk reward. You know, a lot of times, we have to pursue these without knowing going into it that we're never gonna have recovery. Or we have to leverage grant money, or we have to seek outside funding to do it. We're just fortunate that in some instances, losses are covered by insurance, but many of these buildings aren't even insurable. No one's got an insurance certificate for these buildings. You couldn't. No one would underwrite it.
Okay.
On another note, another thing that Mr. Ellen said was, everything that's blocked off should stay blocked off, and actually you should block off a little bit more. I stopped in at the pharmacy before coming down here tonight, and I was told last evening, 2 ladies and a little girl chose to sit right underneath the canopy of that building. So I'm asking Mr. Fronzaglio if we could put some heavier tape up.
We always need to put something pretty solid like.
Well, I did look, and there is nothing right in front of that building. There's some cones out in the road, but nothing.
We were standing there discussing it, we had a lady come up here with her walker and put the tape up and walk straight through, right in front of us, while we told her, no, you can't go through. She still did it right in front of us. You almost need to fence it.
We're gonna try to stabilize that a little bit more, something a little more sturdier. Okay.
Too much grass to cut.
Mr. Toprani, so basically, this ain't gonna get straightened out. What I'm getting at, we got some kind of event going on in a month or 2 here. Should we get a hold of them people and say they're not gonna be able to use it more like that?
Just move everything down to the pavilion.
Move them down to 7th with the pavilion.
But I mean, should we get in touch with these
Yes,
people?
we'll contact her
It'd be easier to close the street off down there anyways, have it on the 7th.
and have it set the craft, the
What I'm
vendor
getting
show.
at, let's have the courtesy to get a hold of these
Okay.
people.
We do have something scheduled for, the week of May 21st for, Nate from the redevelopment to come in to talk to us about the land-based programs. You know, so this is a good time for us to work with them to see what they can do, to explain to us a little bit more. And I have to call with the commissioner's office, so hopefully they'll be able to point us in the right direction to get the money that we need to take care of things like this.
Well, right now, we're not really talking about money.
Okay.
We're talking about safety. So the thing, like Mrs. Brice said, you can't have anything in front of it right
Yes,
now.
right.
Nothing.
Okay.
Parking lots, and move everything down to 7th Street.
That's great. All right, Mr. Perrotta?
We didn't vote.
DeAnne, second. Okay, we roll call for the motion to get the engineer to do the report.
Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Aye.
Mrs. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion to perform the first reading for the regulations for the administrative search warrant.
I have a question on that motion.
Wait, you have to wait.
We have to second it first.
Okay, just give me a second. All right, you're making a motion, and there hasn't been a second yet.
I'll second
Freddie, second. Now, any questions?
Yeah, we talked about this at the work session. If we would go along with this, I can understand maybe the code enforcement, but the next word to the code enforcement is borough designee. Who is the borough designee? It doesn't say how you're gonna enter somebody's house if they don't let you in. And did we check with our insurance company to see if they're gonna back us on this?
The borough designee could be anyone appointed by the borough.
Who?
It could be anybody. It could be the police chief. It could be the borough secretary. It could be anybody appointed by the borough.
That's too open. That leaves too many things open. Excuse me?
Every sample ordinance that I provided had the exact same verbiage, and that's
No,
where
it
the
did not.
solicitor took it
It
from.
did
I'm
not.
against that, but did you check with the insurance company to see if they're gonna do it?
That's
How-
not my
how
job
are
to
you
check
gonna
with the
break into
insurance company.
somebody's house?
Okay, wait, everybody. Mr. Toprani, would you like to speak on that, please?
I could
I can speak to insurance sort of globally on this. I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. So I talked to our carrier and their coverage counsel, who gives opinions on coverage. I also called my insurance carrier for my attorney malpractice coverage, because part of the ordinance was suggested that the solicitor would sign off on these as well. So I talked to coverage counsel for that carrier this morning. So during this week, I've had 2 conversations with coverage counsel. Both were Pittsburgh-based, and both of them were sort of perplexed. I sent them samples. I actually sent them the ordinance and said, this is what council's going to discuss tonight at first reading. Explained to them that it would take a 2-month process for final adoption. So couple takeaways. Number one, they said if we would pass this ordinance, we should provide immediate notice to our insurance carrier to see if they would actually bind coverage for these types of events. They described it as a law school hypothetical with the potential issues that could come up. The most serious of which, that could subject us to liability, cost of lawsuits, punitive damages, injunctive relief, or civil rights violations. The Fourth Amendment does protect, and I sent an email to council because there were some questions about this, property owners from unreasonable searches and seizures. The strongest right is the right in someone's home, which is what we're targeting in this act. If this was directed to commercial buildings in our business district, perhaps there isn't such strong property rights as any individual property owner has. So that's number one. Number two, they were not familiar with any jurisdictions within the marketplace, meaning southwestern Pennsylvania, that have adopted similar ordinances. So I went on eCode 360 today. I have a subscription that is a repository. Their municipalities upload their various codes. I didn't find any in southwestern Pennsylvania. There are several, a handful, and Councilman Perrotta actually reviewed some of those together. One I think was in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. One was outside of Philadelphia. But what the carriers were adamant about was the potentiality for property loss, death, and injury that results in the service of warrants. So they were concerned that, let's say we had a call and somebody didn't have electricity, right? And we wanted to get in the house for whatever reason to determine what the condition was. The search warrant's applied for. Code official goes in, knocks over a kerosene heater, the house burns, right? Causes injury, causes death, causes property loss. The insurance carriers were saying they would not likely bind coverage because we have exclusions in our policy to cover those things. As it relates to my policy, the lawyer that I talked to said, Steve, I'll tell you personally, I would never sign off on one of these. He said, because you may not have coverage under your legal malpractice, because the client I advise is, and I say this to you all the time, is counsel and the administrator. So if I was reading Mr. Volpe's work, let's say Joe's not our code officer. No offense to you, Joe, I just don't want to make this personal to you. Let's say John Smith's our code officer. He gives me an affidavit and says this is in support of search warrant. And I review it for legality. But maybe he makes misstatements in it. Maybe he expands on things that weren't there, fabricates, or had 10 complaints with this resident that we didn't know about. And I sign off on it, and it's later brought in court, I'm likely not to have coverage. I discussed this with us at the work session, this last meeting, the meeting before. I'm still involved in federal litigation. I was sued for civil rights violation, for official duties I did on behalf of you all, of this borough, of council, in that HAR litigation. I don't want to get into all the details here, but she had a house of horrors. The district attorney of Washington County at the time led a multi-agency investigation, and we were all sued. My goal is that none of you ever have to sit in federal court or in a federal courthouse and look at individual liability, because that's what comes from civil rights violations. And if there's no insurance for it, you're on the hook. I'm on the hook. So I just think we have to be very diligent, because I didn't get the answers I expected from the insurance carrier. They specifically said if this passes, they may have to renegotiate our insurance at renewal, because these are contracts that could impact our premium, could impact our pricing and our coverage amounts, and could impact our contract. Meaning they may have to write specific language that says we're protected if we exercise these powers. I'm not even sure our local judge will sign it. So I keep coming back to that. So there is a potential for a number of types of claims that could fall from this. So I just have to be clear that, you know, one of my main duties, and I hope council appreciates this, is to avoid litigation, avoid the cost of litigation. You know, we've been at risk of renewal with our insurance carrier for several years now. I mean, I've been here probably 6 years, I think, since 2017 or 2018, 6 or 7 years. I think every year I've grit my teeth while we go through a renewal and hope it goes through without huge premium increases. This could trigger a deductible increase at minimum.
They could ask, you know, choose not to cover us at all, and then we'd have to get state coverage, which would be absolutely enormous price for liability. And I just feel like this motion, that we're overstepping our boundaries. You know, nobody here is law enforcement except for former, but no one here has is a lawyer. No one here has a law to go enter someone's home. It's just overreaching so far that we are really dangling ourselves out there.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You know, I went over the ordinance, read through it, and I got a problem with that designee. I think our code enforcer. But wouldn't you think, I have faith in our district judge or a common pleas judge. They're gonna dot their I's and they're gonna cross their T's. They're gonna tell us what we can do and what we can't do.
But like
The issue, Mr. Thompson, is that, and I've sued judges before. It's no secret. You can look it up in the dockets. Judges have absolute immunity. It's called judicial immunity. We're not judicial officers. We have qualified immunity, which means we're not fully immune. Mr. Volpe's not. I'm not. And if council weighs in on these decisions,
you're not either.
you're not either.
Right.
So if it's shown that we're willfully or wantonly violating the law, there's case law that says we're in trouble.
Would our district judge knowingly let us go against the law?
But Tommy, what he's saying is the guy.
No, I want to hear what he says.
Well, the guy
I want to hear what he
lie.
says. He's our attorney.
All he's going to see, first off, knowing Judge Wilson, I'm not sure he would sign one.
Well,
period. I'm
he
not
might
sure he
not,
would sign one.
he might not. I don't know.
Again, that's why it doesn't have to go to the magistrate. It goes to a court having jurisdiction, and the Court of Common Pleas has full jurisdiction in Washington
When
County.
you say it goes to a common pleas judge, or you think they're not going to dot their I's and they're going to let us go in? All I've been hearing is we're going to kick doors in.
And that's not the case.
That ain't what we're wanting.
So what are we doing? We're gonna knock on their door and say search warrant?
No, that judge will tell you what you're going to do.
No, the judge does not.
No, he ain't going to give you the search warrant.
Tommy, I've served hundreds and hundreds of search warrants. This guy went on them with me. When you have a search warrant, the judge doesn't say, go at 9 a.m. and knock politely.
I'm not saying that, but he's going to give you.
And then you knock the door down in 60 seconds.
Is he going to give you that same judge gave you the authority to knock that door down? Correct?
If we're found to have pursued it for the
Correct.
wrong motivations, the judge is immune and we're not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The judge's signature alone does not
You know,
absolve us.
all I hear, I don't think anybody in this room wants to kick doors down. All we want them to comply with what we, you know.
So the exception to the search warrant is consent, right?
Yes.
If a property owner consents, you never need a search warrant. So the net result of a search warrant is you're getting it because they don't consent and you have to knock their door down. Very few people, Neal, how many search warrants have you served where they just open the door and say, "What in? Have coffee for us"? And that's my only concern, is this could be.
I think we're getting lost in knocking doors down.
Yeah, because that's what let somebody do. That's what we're trying to say. It's authorizing us to do
Hopefully
that.
As a worst case scenario.
I think it's in every case scenario.
Right.
Let's say you did file for an administrative search warrant. You're our first thing of defense. And you tell us, I don't think this is a good idea. I'm not signing off on it. So So now they don't take what you have into consideration.
Correct.
Well, let's go to the magistrate. Magistrate says, well, what did your solicitor tell you? He told me he didn't think this was a good idea. Now, do you think that that magistrate's gonna sign off on it?
No.
Okay, and even if, and now we go to a judge. And the judge is gonna come back to you, he's gonna come back to the magistrate. What did they tell you? They didn't think it was a good idea. You think he's gonna sign off on it?
Well, you don't sign off, so you don't have nothing to worry about there.
But
Without them signing off, we
Yeah,
can't
you just
do
can't
it.
take it upon yourself. because
I'm not saying that, Mike, it's up to the judge,
Correct, it is up to a judge.
Exactly,
not Tommy Thompson or Mike McDowell.
yeah, exactly.
But again, the only thing a judge is going to read is an affidavit that supports.
And they're gonna determine if the probable cause exists.
Exactly.
but it could be based on a lie, is what I'm trying to get
Well,
across
at
to
one
you.
time, didn't you tell me, Steve, when we talked about, we set the tone. We gotta have a paper trail. With all that paper trail, I'm not saying on Monday, you just gotta have one. No, you gotta do a paper trail, what we did.
Has to
And
be
if
a
they're not
timeline.
complying, that goes in front of the judge and takes into consideration.
That all goes in
What
the
we wanna
affidavit.
do. Correct?
We should always, I'm 1,000%,
Correct.
I'm 1,000% for documenting, Tommy, you know that.
Basically, I think, Mr. Thompson, you misconstrued what I was saying. We have 3 fail-safes. When you issue, when you wanna issue or you wanna act on a administrative order. You got the solicitor, you got the judge, your magisterial district judge, and you got your judge. And without
I know all
them
that.
signing on that, and you can't do it.
Then we can't do it then.
He just said he can't
Then
do
we
it for
can't
his
do it.
insurance.
And I'm tired of hearing about kicking doors.
The solicitor said he can't do it. Wait, stop.
If he said he basically almost can't, won't
Listen,
sign off on
okay.
it, then let it die, then if you wanna go over top and say it, then go to the judge. Steve is basically saying
He's not gonna
he ain't gonna
do
do
it.
it.
Okay.
No
Could
judge
we-
is gonna go over top of the solicitor.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I know that, but y'all talking about a circle.
Okay.
He basically said he's not
District
gonna do
judge is
it.
gonna go over.
What people don't
I
understand
know that.
is, what people don't understand is this ordinance only gives further regulations on what is required. We don't even need this ordinance. We can apply for administrative search warrant right now with the code enforcement officer sending an affidavit of probable cause without the solicitor's approval. This ordinance would give permission to the solicitor to approve it prior to it going to the courts.
He said his insurance won't even cover him to do that. Did anybody not hear him say that?
That's why I led with that.
Right,
I
so
was
why
surprised
are we
you did.
passing an ordinance that has him in it, and he's telling you right now, I don't have an insurance coverage to do it? That tells you that this ordinance is going way too far. We have laws in place.
Then why don't we use them?
Well, we do use them.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
How come the problem on Mead Street still exists?
Hey, exactly. We did the right thing. We took it down. We fined it. She got fined. Everything was done. But now, I had a conversation with her, and she's willing to work with the neighbors and get the stuff done.
Only took 4 years.
Well, okay, but listen, rather than go at her.
I'm glad of that. Now, let's talk about that for a minute.
Right.
Are we gonna follow through with
Yes,
that?
don't-
Are we
don't
gonna
say-
follow
don't
through
say
with
no
that?
names. Don't-
No, I'm not,
Okay.
are we gonna follow through with it?
Yes, I talked to Mr. Volpe yesterday, and you emailed me the other day about seeing the magistrate,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go forward. She's gonna open up.
Did you meet with her?
I have not yet.
Yeah, we gotta meet with her.
I was with her yesterday.
I don't live there. I hate to be them people for 4 years with cockroaches all around.
Okay, listen,
Can
stop.
I speak 2
Yes,
seconds?
go ahead, please.
I'm all for fixing the problem, but there is no physical proof where the problem is starting. And it turns out that he said, she said.
Okay, wait a minute, Joe.
Wait.
Now, this was a year ago. You showed me pictures.
Yeah, but that,
You showed me pictures.
but that doesn't show.
Did you show me pictures of inside?
But they could have come from another house. There's
He
no
said
way.
it come from that house.
I didn't say that. I said that there.
See, again,
The bottom line is, I'd hate to be them people that for 3. Like I said, if I was them, I'd get about 10 of them and bring them all around Donora.
All right, listen, we're not getting anywhere with this, okay? Stop.
That's what I.
Madam President, can I say one thing?
Please, can we move on and get this meeting over with? Please.
Okay, let me say one thing.
What?
Over the past week, calling around, trying to find what we're gonna do with this building up here, and how we're gonna do it, and what we're gonna do. Everybody I talk to, from the state to the county to Joe Schmo, says, what does your solicitor say?
And he just said, it's not a great idea.
So.
We're not covered by insurance.
Let's move on.
Let's go.
Have to take a vote. It was seconded.
Right, motion, you said a motion to perform the first reading, and was it seconded by Mr. Berestecky?
Yes.
Okay, well then call vote.
Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
No.
Mr. Brice?
No.
Mr. McDowell? Aye. Mrs. Pavelko?
Based on my solicitor's advice, I say no.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Okay, ayes carry 4-3.
Steve, would you like to read it?
No.
I don't have it in front of me.
No,
If somebody wants to read it, go ahead. I think a lot of the verbiage needs to change.
It's stated, right, you just passed something that's
Fail
not.
safe, the fail safes are there. You know, we have 3 different people that we have to go through before you can even execute something like this. And under the insurance or whatever, you're not gonna sign off. A magistrate or a district judge is not gonna sign off. It's like, it's just a tool that is in place. I hope we never have to use it.
Okay.
I'll read it. Borough of Donora, Washington County, Pennsylvania.
Go on.
We voted on it, Cindy. If you don't like it, oh well.
You know what, oh well, you know what, Kate?
An ordinance amending the Donora Borough Code and further providing for the use of administrative search warrants and enforcement of the borough's ordinances. Section 1, administrative search warrants. A, right of entry, administrative search warrants. The borough code officer and/or designee of the borough may apply to a judge of the magisterial district court with jurisdiction for an administrative search warrant to enter any premises to conduct any inspection required or authorized by law to determine compliance with the provisions of a borough property ordinance, code, and/or nuisance ordinance. B, application for and content of warrant. The application for administrative search warrant shall be in writing and sworn to by the applicant and shall particularly describe the place, structure, premises, etc. to be inspected and the nature, scope, and purpose of the inspection to be performed by the applicant. Before filing an application for administrative search warrant with the court, the borough code officer and/or the borough designee shall obtain approval by the borough solicitor as to its legality in both form and substance under the standard and criteria of this section. And a statement to this effect shall be included as part of the application. A judge of a court referred to in this section may issue the warrant on finding that I, the applicant has sought access to the property for the purpose of making an inspection, and after requesting at a reasonable time, the owner, tenant, or other individual in charge of the property to allow access has been denied access to the property, or after making a reasonable effort, the applicant has been unable to locate any of these individuals. The borough code officer and/or the borough designee is authorized by law to make an inspection of the property for which the warrant is being sought. Probable cause for the issuance of the warrant has been demonstrated by the applicant by specific evidence of an existing violation or any provision of a borough code and/or borough ordinance or any rule, regulation, and/or ordinance adopted under the borough code, or by showing that a reasonable administrative inspection program exists regarding the condition of the property and that the proposed inspection comes within that program. Section C, an administrative search warrant issued under this section shall specify the place, structure, premises, vehicle, or records to be inspected. The inspection conducted may not exceed the limits specified in the warrant. Section D, an administrative search warrant issued under this section authorizes the applicant and other officials or employees of the borough to enter specified property to perform the inspection, sampling, and other functions authorized by law to determine compliance with the provision of this code. Section E, an administrative search warrant issued under this section shall be executed and returned to the judge by whom it was issued within the time specified in the warrant, not to exceed 30 days, or if no time period is specified in the warrant, 15 days from the date of its issuance.
Okay, Mr. Berestecky, recreation, please.
Okay, thank you.
Is it?
we got dogs and you know.
Excuse me, come on, let's go, we're going on with this meeting, please, it's been long enough, let's go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Monies collected during the month of April, $1,895, bringing a total for this year of $7,695. That is my report.
Thank you very much. Ms. McDowell, we do community affairs and municipal.
Okay,
Yeah, community affairs and municipal.
Okay, the basketball report, monies collected for the month of April, $950. Money collected year to date is $1,699.15. So, I have a motion, that we only have one applicant.
We only have one application for the vacancy on the Mon Valley Sewage Authority Board, and that was Mr. Louis Marasini. I have a motion to appoint Mr. Louis Marasini to serve on the Donora Borough Representative replacement of Mr. Thompson, the Mon Valley Sewage Authority. Open board position for the remaining term beginning retroactive January 1st, 2024, with that term concluding on December 31st, 2026.
I second it.
Just to confirm, this is filling the remainder of Mr. Thompson's term that he resigned from.
That is correct.
Mr. Berestecky. Aye. Mrs. Brice.
Yes.
Mr. Brice.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mrs. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I just want to say one thing. In the past, we haven't had any too much correspondence between our representative and the sewage board. I would like a report at least once a month. Let us know what's going on.
You don't get the minutes anymore?
What's that?
You don't receive a copy of our minutes anymore?
Not that I'm aware of.
They send them.
They do, well,
Yeah.
they need to be read because,
Okay.
you know, we went through something, you know, there's not, you know, touch base with us sometime. I'm not saying be here every month, but just touch base. You got a big project going on, just let us know where you're at, where we're at, where the community's at with this project. That's all I ask.
No problem.
Okay, thank you much, Ms. Marison.
Hey, Lou,
Excuse
Lou,
me.
Steve is aware of that. Steve comes to me and reports to Mike McDowell, okay?
Okay, that's cool. That's all right. Two of us do it.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. McDowell, you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Thompson, Highways and Streets.
Yeah, I have a motion to hire Carson Finney for a part-time public work position at an initial pay rate of $17 per hour without benefits, subject to a 90-day probationary period, effective May 13th, 2024.
Second.
Approved, second by Mr. Perrotta. Okay. Would you roll call, please?
Mr. Berestecky.
Aye.
Yes.
Mr. Brice.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Aye.
Mrs. Pavelko.
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Madam Chair, before you move on to the next committee, I
Yes.
have a question for Dean.
Yes.
Dean, can you explain to us the calendar, what's happening up there at Second Street Extension? I see that they're doing some work, look like they're replacing the trenches that they dug and paved last year. Or do they plan on paving, or are they gonna chip it?
Well, Second Street Extension, right now they're doing restoration, they're putting asphalt in their.
Fill in the trench. Yes, I was there
When they're
today.
done, the road is gonna get real paved.
Yeah.
They're talking, you know, sometime in June here, okay, with the state's gonna come in and, they'll pave.
All right, thank you.
All right, next up would be Public Safety, Mr. Brice.
Okay, for the month of April 2024, police responded to 370 calls. 40 of those calls were reportable. There was 10 total arrests, 15 motor vehicle arrests, 5 written warnings. They put on 2,750 miles. Overtime for the month was 2,548. Court time was 166. $20 in parking permits. $75 in accident reports. Monies received from the magistrate, $1,492.77, for a total of $1,567. Total revenue received was $1,667.77. That's my report. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the administrator to advertise in the local paper for civil service testing. And I wanted to add on to this also that for civil service testing, and Steve, can we put civil service testing and for full-time applications for police officer?
Yes, sir.
You can.
Full-time police officer and part-time officer.
I'll second that.
Yeah, there's already a note
On
on the agenda. Sure, we can do that.
Okay, so motion to authorize the administrator, a second by Mr. McDowell. Oh, I'm sorry,
I did.
you did, I'm Mr. Berestecky, excuse me.
What did he second? He second for full-time?
Both.
But we're looking.
That's not on the
Hey,
agenda.
Advertise.
We talked about it.
hey, Jim, I don't know if we want to put part-time in that motion.
Right below the motion, it states the borough is now accepting applications for full-time. So I don't see a problem combining the two. It's basically,
Civil service for part-time too?
No.
No, I don't, yeah, I don't think we should put part-time in that motion because the civil service confliction.
I would do motion to advertise the testing for full-time, and then just announce it.
And then just Mr., he can put it in part-time, okay.
That way the part-timer, if not hired full-time, will be right in line for a full-time job down the line.
Oh, okay, so motion authorized by Mr. Brice, second by Mr. Berestecky. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Berestecky? Aye. Mrs. Brice?
Yes.
Mr. Brice?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell? Mrs. Pavelko?
Aye.
Mr. Perrotta?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
That's all I have to report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brice. Okay,
Can I ask something, Mr. Brice? And Mr. Brice, this young lady was bringing to my attention that, we have no problem with it. We just like to be informed on little things. If somebody would ask either one of us, since we're on the Civil Service Commission. We have no problem with you doing, none whatsoever. Just a heads up. It's
So what are you asking for?
Just a heads up.
well, as soon as, when we, we'll let you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all. She brought it to my, you know what I mean.
Okay,
That's all. Just we're not questioning nothing.
okay, thank you. All right, mayor's report, please.
I really don't have anything right now, but what about this, ordinance we're gonna have a reading of the audit ordinance?
That wasn't on the agenda. We just held it today.
It's for the workshop. Okay, we can do that one again.
Okay, I'm going
All right, thank you. Okay, so, Mr. Wilson, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, to what,
For the non-agenda items, yeah.
Thank you. I was here earlier, I would have come, now, first of all, Chief Thompson and I have been talking quite a bit with the sanitation. I paid money. I don't know about the rest of my folks up on my street, but let me just say this. We have not been getting trash picked up for weeks upon weeks. Now, Chief Thompson said he didn't know about it, but the refuse company should have told y'all that they wasn't coming. We hadn't had trash picked up until last Saturday at 4:55 a.m. for 3 weeks. There was trash everywhere. There's rats. There's cats up there.
Did you call the borough and give them and complain?
Well, I did call the administrator, I believe, one time, and then because I like the board, and I voted for certain ones to be on here, I have certain things that I have, Chief Rand, don't you hear me? That I could have went and had some serious damage done, but I love Donora, and I love what y'all doing. But that was wrong. We don't even know now when to clear our trash out. We just leave it out.
Start from this. Number one, when you called me,
You worked on it.
okay, do not wait 2 weeks. I sent Chief Rands up the next morning, and he come back and said it was terrible. Why do you wait 2 weeks? I'm not
First of all, Chief, we have, yeah, he was chief of Rands. That's it.
Go ahead, come on.
Okay,
Wait a minute, man. Hold on now. Hold on. I didn't know.
excuse me, can we get that,
No,
please?
the bottom line, I'm gonna be respected just like I respect y'all.
I'm
The
respecting
thing
you.
of it is now, it's not up to me to call you in regards to the fact that if they told us at one time it was Tuesday. Then we got a notice something about, because my neighbor came and told me that they switched it to Thursday.
But I didn't know about
Well,
it.
we don't, if you don't know about it, how do you think we know about it?
Because they're not picking your trash up.
Chief,
So,
when I made the call to get a hold of you ASAP,
And the next day.
you worked on it, I give you that. But everybody's going around saying that, well, they can't get down the street. That's a lie. Chief ran 3 years ago, at like 11:30 at night, our big tanker came down that street with everybody's cars on it.
Mr. Wilson,
Lie.
no, can I ask let me ask one question real quick. Mr. Volpe, has anything changed with the map on the garbage pickup?
Not that I'm.
Okay, so Tuesdays and Thursdays are our pickup days.
I think
Yeah,
it was
but
Tuesday.
I'd like to address one of his comments, which he's 100% right. I went up there along with, after Chief Rands, I spoke to the people that were doing the work up on 7th Street. They informed me, multiple people on that construction crew informed me that the trash truck came up the street. They looked at the situation and said, we're not gonna do it. And then,
Well, that's a problem with Fayette Waste.
well, no, I'm just, I'm confirming what he's saying. They told me that multiple people up there said, well, we'll make accommodations for you to take your truck down there to pick up your trash. And like, we'll get it some other time.
We were told, I came out there at 4:55 when I heard the truck out there on Saturday. They told me, well, we have other runs to do. I said, what are you talking about? I said, we pay taxes here for our garbage. Then they said, well, the borough finally squared up with us. I said, what? What do you mean they finally squared up with y'all?
But what I'm trying to get at, don't wait 2 weeks. Please.
Okay. Well,
Because the
that's-
next morning, Chief Rands went there right away, talked to the construction people, said that when they come up, they'll let them. I called Friday, they said they'll be there Saturday. So it took a couple days, but don't wait 2 weeks, please.
Okay, they haven't come this week. What's this?
Well,
Now, don't blame it on Columbia guys, I know they're faithful.
No, I say
But
something, Mr. Wilson.
Tuesday's the pickup.
Another thing about it is, do not talk to the guys on the truck.
Yeah.
You
No, I
call-
came out there.
No, you call up the office, that's where you're gonna get your results, their boss, the guy that owns it. You call down there to the code enforcement officer, he'll relay your message up to there. The guys on the truck, they're gonna, you're not gonna get any satisfaction out of them. All they're gonna do is blow hot air,
Well, I came out there because they have a tendency to leave trash all over the ground. Now, listen, Patsy.
Well, take a picture and send it up to their
Well,
boss.
Chief Rand already seen,
Send it up to their boss.
Patsy, we got all kind of stray cats up there now. We got all kind of rats up there
Is the garbage
now.
backed up or is it just thrown out into the street?
Well, Madam Chairman,
Yes.
the rats are nice size. They eat through the bags.
Okay, I understand.
So, now it's an environmental dump up there per se. Now with the rodents and the cats are chasing the rabbits. The rabbit even comes up on my porch. I'm not being serious. I'm being serious. That's how bad it is, Madam Chairman.
That's close.
All right.
Now wait a minute. I have another issue that I really want to address, and I mentioned it, and I'm serious about this. It's gonna affect Ringo and the Donora. That problem, and I'm working with the state too, by the way, that problem that they got going over in Charlotte, it's starting to spread over into Donora. Now, I already said now to some people, I'm not having it on my street. Now, you know what it is. Now, no, wait a minute. Hold on, Mr. Councilman McDowell. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for our taxes. It's going to be a problem for our services. I've already contacted the state. Don't give Charlotte no $400,000 for us with the education as far as what's going on. It's coming here, and the fact, Madam Chairman, I've said as the chief ran off the cuff, their value system is a lot different, and it's going to be a problem. Now, I'm not going to have it on my street. Now, Madam Chairman, I'll say this and I'll close with this. We're law-abiding citizens.
Yes, we are.
But I will tell you this one thing. And y'all already overstepped one thing if you let it go through. Chief Rand knows this. Some of our neighbors have talked to him in the past. Some of them have attack dogs, cameras, and guns. We don't play. Hey, listen. We believe in a safe neighborhood.
Mr. Wilson, we cannot discriminate.
I ain't saying discriminate.
Please.
What I'm saying, put some things in place.
You can't stop anybody from living anywhere they want to live.
Sorry, let's put this to rest.
Yeah, you can.
Mr. Davis, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do. I got a couple problems. You know, it's about the road. It's about, I know Donora got an ordinance. If you don't got property, the borough doesn't own the property. My yard, I've been talking to Mr. Berestecky last year. I talked to several councilmen about coming across 12th Street. I know there's a lot of property here, and I know there's the owners are from India, out of India, all over the place. I just want a brush hog. I tried to talk to Mr. Dean several times about this. He keeps throwing up to me about, oh, we gotta cut the park. I'm a
Is that
taxpayer.
our property?
No,
Is that our property?
no, it is not.
No, it's from India.
Is it
Well, we got a
maintenance
code
on the side of the
enforcement
road?
officer, and I did my research. My father's a code enforcement officer up in that state. The borough got 3.5 feet on anybody's property they come. Brush hog. We're not sending nobody no fines. I shouldn't have to live like I'm in Beirut. You come across 12th Street, and that's all you see.
There are two lots right near your house that are owned by your neighbor that Mr. Volpe can send letters to, and hopefully we can get that rectified.
This should have been done 8 years.
I-
But they've been brush hogging it for several years. Why do you want to stop now?
We'll look into it. I'll go up and see.
I would
Tell me
appreciate
what
that.
to do.
And then he wanted to get confrontational with me when I came in there tonight. And you know,
You can ask him if you
Come
don't
on,
have.
please, come on, we're not gonna
he
choose.
tried to make a floor show when other people came in here.
No, you come down my garage and you
Stop.
have to.
Okay, all right.
Hey, stop.
No, I didn't.
Stop right now. We will address this. We'll take care of it. I apologize. Hopefully, we will take care of your situation. And please, no complications here.
Hey, Madam Chairman, one more thing. I'd like to say this, Madam Chairman.
Excuse me.
On behalf of
They were
myself
down there brush
and
hogging.
myself, we like to thank Donora,
Across from
Brice,
Fridel's old
Chief
house.
Rand. My son is graduating from one
They were
college
doing that
tomorrow.
yesterday. I don't know if
And
that's
I
anything.
went with Chief Brice, Chief Rand,
That's further up.
Donora Police Department, and our fine
There's snowball in the
city
middle
or
on
town.
the left-hand
He
side.
wouldn't be where he is today, so I want to thank him.
Thank
I
you very
really
much.
appreciate it.
Congratulations on his graduation.
Thank you. Chief Thompson, thank you very much.
Before you close, I see Sylvester's in the audience. I see you got a new paint job. Can you tell us what's going on there?
All right. I can use this?
Push the button.
Push the button. Can you hear me? You can hear me. All right. First of all, I just want to say thanks very much. Where's the administrator? So when you invited me to come over here and come and talk about what I want to talk about. My name is Sylvester, probably for some of you who don't know me. I'm Sylvester Conda. I've been in this community for almost 30 years. And I have run my businesses in this community This is the one I'm going to talk about is my third business that I'm running. I did my technology business here, where I have 516 McKean. It has been my commercial building for all this time. And raised my kids up here in Donora. I've known Jim Brice since I came to this community very well. And so he's asking me about why have I painted my building. In fact, people have been asking me, why have you painted your building green? Okay, the announcement is that I'm bringing in an insurance business to be able to provide all lines of insurance. Home insurance, auto insurance, business insurance, both commercial and also personal line insurance, health insurance, and in fact, we do have quite a number of major health insurance companies that have contracted with us that want to bring the services in our area. Like, for instance, Humana, Cigna, even UPMC, United Health, and quite a number of them for us to provide the services both to individuals and also seniors. Medicare and Medicare Advantage is also some of the services we'll be providing to families in the community. And so we are having a grand opening next week on Wednesday from 10 until 5 o'clock when we'll be closing. So if you want to come and learn more about exactly what other services we shall be providing here in this community and beyond, because we are not really limited here. I'm licensed in several states, Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, Ohio, and other states, and we continue to add to that we are providing insurance services to. And so that is the reason why I painted that green, because the green speaks a whole lot of revitalization. And in my business dealings with a number of business people, you go to Pittsburgh and other places, new buildings that are coming up, green, gray, and other colors are becoming prominent because of the message that they're sending to the community. And so what I'm looking at is the very fact that I'm a very strong believer in community development. And my ministry is a whole-rounded where we are helping, literally developing people to become community contributors. And so I do live streaming across the globe. My ministry is called Dynamic Dimension Ministries. I stream it out from here. But there are a number of people that watch that, and one of the things we are talking about is economic development. And so those are the things that our business, as we shall continue, will continue to service the people. Those are some of the things that we'll be doing at our place. There will be seminars and other things, educating people on all these items. That is what it is. The name of the company is Center Insurance Agency. We are a broker. So we have over 100 insurance agents, carriers that we are representing, and we trust that we'll be able to service many, many people as possible. So if you want to learn about us more, please, you're all welcome to our grand opening on Wednesday at 10 o'clock and so forth. So that is what we are doing in this community. I'm a strong believer. I've been in this community. I've seen, and I would like to make some contribution in terms of the development of this community. So that's the reason.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Madam President, we skipped over the appointed officials.
Rands, you have a report?
I have nothing except I'd like to take part in the writing of the advertisement for the full-time police officer. I think we need to discuss some things.
That's what our question should be.
Yeah, starting salary and different things like that.
And, yeah, a few things.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavelko?
I did get told from, gas company that hopefully after Memorial Day, they're gonna start on, some of the restoration with the asphalt
Okay,
with this gas project.
good. Mr. Volpe?
We did 26 notice of violations, 13 were corrected. 5 non-traffic citations issued, 5 requested extra time, and 3 need additional inspections. 6 occupancy inspections performed, 2 fire permits, and 16 wing letters issued.
Okay, thank you. Did you check that address from today?
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. Thank you very
I have
much.
an inspection scheduled.
Okay. Mr. Pitts?
No report.
All right, anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Please, I'm sorry.
Dean.
Why do they pick you all?